welcome to September's YA Book Club video. I hope y'all had a great summer. Don't forget to get your summer reading records turned in. We'll be accepting them, I believe it's through September 22nd. So you've got time, so don't rush, but make sure you get them in because you don't want to miss out on possibly winning a prize. A new thing I've started for this month is if you go over to goodreads.com, which is like a book website, you can read book reviews and summaries and keep track of what you've read. There's also groups where you can do discussions, and the library has one, the Gaston County Public Library, and I have started a couple of discussion boards, not posts, for us. So there's a virtual bookshelf where you'll be able to see all the books I talk about today, along with detailed summaries. And then there will also be a discussion board where, again, I'll list the books, and then we can chat about the books, these books, other books that fit with the theme this month, and then maybe give some recommendations for next month's book club. So this month's book club was school stories, and I will go ahead and admit that I did not get around to reading this month's books. I had every intention to. I was really excited about a lot of these, and some of them were books that I read years ago and I wanted to reread so bad. But life happened and I got busy, and I realized it's September and I have to do the video. So it's very, very technical. I have sticky notes with information on the books on the back of each book so I can talk about it and still actually look at the camera and not down, because it's a little weird if I'm not looking at the camera, because then it's like I'm not looking at you guys, and I want you to know I'm trying to give you my full attention. So sorry I didn't read the books. Here's to next month. But they're still really exciting and really interesting sounding, so I definitely want to share them with you. So without further ado, let's jump in. So the first book is The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek, which is by, oh my goodness, somebody named Rhett, and helps if I write this down too. Rhett McLaughlin and Link Neal, and I think they had another co-writer, so it's kind of a group effort. This one's actually really fun. It does take place in North Carolina, and a town obviously called Bleak Creek. So Bleak Creek teens live in constant fear of being sent to the Whiteside School, a local reformatory school that has such a good record that people are willing to overlook the kind of mysterious deaths and incidents. When Rex and Leaf's attempt to do like their own little low-budget horror movie goes very horribly wrong, their friend Candace actually ends up getting sent to Whitewood. Now Rex and Leaf are going to have to challenge what they know about their town and the school to save their friend. This one sounded really, really, really cool, and I may still end up going back and reading it. One, it's set in probably a fictional town in North Carolina. I hope they chose a fictional town, otherwise the poor people of the real Bleak Creek are just not gonna be happy. But it sounded really cool. Like, everybody's always got rebellious teens, and then teens up to no good. It's what we all want to do, right? Okay, next one is Girls with Sharp Sticks, which I keep wanting to call Girls with Sharp Knives, I'm not gonna lie. And this one is by Suzanne Young. So this is about the girls who go to Innovations Academy, and they are all beautiful and very well behaved. Under the watchful gaze of the guardian, they receive a well-rounded education that promises to make them arrogance or defiance free. But as Mina and her friends discover, their carefully controlled existence is not quite what it appears. So they uncover the secrets of the what's and whys of what's going on and who they really are. They're gonna have to learn to fight back, because I'm guessing the guardian is not gonna want them to have a mind of their own, which not agree with. Again, this one I was really excited to read, despite the fact that I keep calling it the wrong title, and I may still go back. It sounds like Scott Westerfeld Westerfield, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, had a series called The Uglies. This sounds similar, but with a slightly different story. I loved that series. That's another good one. It doesn't take place at school, but if you like kind of dystopian sort of thing, that was a really, really good one. I think he's added on to it too. I need to check on that. Anyways, moving on. This is one that I've actually read. I think I bought it at one point, and then I lent it to somebody. Just kind of gave it to them. This one is A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallero. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. I should start looking these up. Anyways, so this one is about Jamie Watson and Charlotte Holmes. And yes, they are the descendants of those Holmes, that Holmes and that Watson. Despite this, Jamie Watson wants nothing to do with Charlotte Holmes, even though he ends up at Sherringford Prep, where she is, and very close to his estranged father. He literally wants nothing to do with either of them. But unfortunately, he and Charlotte get framed for a death on campus. So it's either get arrested for murder or make nice with Charlotte and figure out who did it. It's really fun. Charlotte Holmes is definitely a female version of Sherlock Holmes with all of the arrogance and temper and genius. And there's several books in this series. I think I have read all that is currently out, and I enjoyed every one of them, so it's pretty fun. I will say there is talk of like drug use and stuff because it does tie in with the original Sherlock Holmes stories, so if you're not a fan of that, just skip it because there's not really any way to avoid it in this one, unfortunately. Ooh! On to another one that I read years ago. I actually read, I think, the entire series as it was kind of coming out. This is I Tell You I'd Love You, But Then I'd Have to Kill You by Allie Carter, who's actually one of my favorite authors. She has another good series I'll probably drag into book club at some point. So this is about Cammie Morgan, who's a student at Gallagher Academy, which is an elite school. It's very late in the day. It's an elite school where the girls are trained how to become spies. So, like, former CIA agents are their teachers, and they learn how to disguise themselves and, snap a man's neck, just girl stuff. Cammie can speak 14 languages and do the aforementioned snapping of a man's neck, but she has no clue how to talk to the very, very normal boy she runs into town, and no idea how to make him think she's an ordinary girl. And, it's kind of hard to sneak out when you go to a school full of spies and aspiring spies. Is this boy going to be worth the trouble, or is she just going to end up with a big headache? Read it and find out. All right. Next book. This one is a little older. I did read this ages and ages and ages ago, so I had to look up the plot because I couldn't remember it anymore, for the most part. So this is called Spy High Mission 1. It is also called, like, the Frankenstein Experiment, as I found out on Goodreads. I only knew it as Spy High Mission 1. I mean, if we can look at this and see what year it was published, and then I'm really going to date myself. In case you're wondering, if you ever need to find out when something was published, you go to the page. It's usually right after the title page where all the little information is, and there's usually a copyright date. Sometimes it's not the book's original publication date, it's just when that edition was published, but I'm pretty sure 2003 is in fact the original publication of this book. This book takes place in a slightly dystopian future, if I remember correctly, and it's another spy school, as you might imagine. This one is called Devereaux Academy, and they're not very nice to their students. It's a little more brutal than Gallagher Girls. The Gallagher Academy is a little bit nicer to their girls. These people aren't nice. All the students are, again, training to be the next generation of spies, and they're put through their paces. I think the whole series actually follows the Bond team, who was put together by the head of the school and is not getting along. So he decides, what better way to make them get along than to just throw them headfirst into a mission, and if they survive and finish the mission, great. If not, he'll be looking for new students. I believe we only have the first two, because again, they're a bit older, so keep that in mind as well. It was really good though. It's very fast-paced and a little creepy, if I remember correctly, but a good one. I had to include a graphic novel, mostly because I read this recently. I thought it was so cute and so brightly colored. So this is called The Backstagers, and of course has a long list of writers and illustrators. The art is great, like, look at this. So I call this proof that theater kids always have the most fun. Jory is one of the main characters, and he is a new transfer to an all-boys school and ends up falling in with the stage crew because they're the only people who will actually talk to him. And what's behind the stage is honestly more interesting than what's on the stage, and maybe more dangerous. It's a really fun adventure. Again, there's lots going on behind the stage. I don't remember that much going on behind stage from when I did theater in high school, but to each their own. All right, we're getting to the end, I promise. Only got 3 more books. There was a lot of books this month, which is probably why I didn't get around to reading them. This one's another that's been on my to-read list for a while. It may have even been Battle of the Books for a bit. It's been very popular. It's One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. It's kind of a twist on The Breakfast Club. If any of you know what The Breakfast Club is, ask your parents. So, one Monday afternoon, 5 students walk into detention, but only 4 walk out, and nobody's talking. They all have motive, but was it them? Was it another person? You have to read and find out. Da, 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 da. Okay, here's another older one that I read ages and ages ago and may have kept me up at night a few times. A Great and Terrible Beauty by Liva Bray. So this is sort of a historical fiction. It follows Gemma, who is sent from India, where she's been living, to Spence Academy in England after her mother commits suicide. So she's lonely, she's guilt-ridden, plagued with visions, and nobody's very nice to her. I mean, it's England. They're a little snobbish, especially back in like this time period, saying 1800s, Victorian age, I think, especially going from that corset. As she becomes entangled with the school, she finds out that her mother, who also went to Spence Academy, was connected with a very mysterious group called the Order. As she's continually plagued by visions, potentially stalked, and just trying to figure out what's going on. She's got to figure things out before she ends up dead. I'm pretty sure that's how that one went. It's a little, if I remember correctly, it doesn't state in this summary, it dabbles a little bit into the occult, and that's kind of a little bit of the twist and turn. So if you're not a fan of like fantasy and historical, you might want to skip this one. It was a very good book and very engaging, and it's also the first in a series. All right, one last book, then we'll move on. So this one was on my to-read list. It's new, it just came out, and we just got it in June. It's called War and Speech by Dawn Zolidis. So, at Eganville, speech and debate is king, a little different, and the team is brutal, which debate kids can be brutal. Sydney Williams, the new girl, befriends some of the speech team's victims and worms her way onto the team to seek revenge. But as she gets on, she's like, I'm kind of enjoying this. I can kill it in debate. Do I still want to bring them down, or do I just want to fight my way to the top and be top dog? Really, really interesting. And it's nice and shiny and new. It's always fun. All right, I promise that's the end of the books because we're running a little long today. I don't, as aforementioned, it was a busy month, so I kind of forgot about like a very organized craft. So instead, we have here some little notebooks. As you can see, I have decorated mine with lots of very colorful washi tape. So we have these notebooks. They are free to you to take and decorate, because you can decorate it with washi tape, you can decorate it with markers and stickers, or whatever you want. So we have these. You can call and we'll give you one. Or actually, we have out on our table just for pickup whenever you want from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We actually have them in little like journaling kits. So you'll get the notebook, a little bucket, and a list of prompts for the month, essentially, over a little in. So a little over a month. So that is free to you to come and take. So that is August. Well, no, September. I read them a month ahead of when I talk about them, so it gets a little confusing for me about which month we're on. Next month is October, and in honor of Halloween, I thought we'd do some spooky stories mixed in with maybe some fun ones that just have paranormal elements, because I like sleeping at night. And sometimes if I read too many scary stories, I can't sleep. I scare easily. It's a problem, but I can't watch horror movies. So enjoy your school stories. Enjoy school with all the fun that it is right now, I'm sure. And next month, get excited for some creepy crawlies. As always, have fun, keep reading, and I will see you in October. Bye!